You lived in fear of having said the wrong thing, having done the wrong thing, having looked the wrong way. You were always afraid of things. There was no freedom of expression, no freedom of assembly, no organized, peaceful political activity. Political parties were banned in 2005. This is 2,000 years after Jesus Christ. Political parties are still banned. I thought this was just kind of really quite ludicrous. It's like not having electricity at all, not having clean water, not having a political infrastructure was one of the biggest obstructions for development. We felt that more than toppling Gayoom, legitimizing political parties was what would help our country. The Maldives is very similar in many ways to what's happening in the Middle East. President Gayoom and President Mubarak went to university together. They want to control society. Gayoom tortured me twice in the name of society. Initially, we were talking about human rights. Basically, not to beat us up, not to torture us. And of course, that meant I was persecuted every time I said any of these things. Gayoom is not charging me or getting at me because he hates me, but he wants to show to my generation, my people, that this is what would happen if you step out of line. When a policeman raises a baton, keep looking at the baton. Don't lose your focus from the baton until it hits you. And I feel that if you do that, the pain is much, much more bearable. There was a period of 18 months of solitary confinement. It was a corrugated iron cell. It was about 6 feet by 7 feet. The cell was on the beach. It was very, very hot. You were left with nothing. For the last 2 months, I was trapped in stocks and chained. I've read about Biko for a long time, and because Biko was finally murdered, and I thought I went through similar pain. He had a very big impact on me. The idea that, a bomb has a huge blast and it makes good pictures, but it doesn't have that kind of long-lasting effect that a peaceful resistance would give you. People were so afraid, but we always knew we can get strength from one another and we can resist. We can stand up to the dictatorship.
Candidate number 2, Muhammad Nasheed Anni, Libanawi vote ke jumla.
Ahmed Ani Nasheed has been elected president, winning 54% of the votes.
A former political prisoner has defeated Asia's longest-serving ruler. Mohammed Nasheed won the first multi-party elections in the Maldives.
Nasheed has pledged a host of reforms, including turning the islands into a model of renewable energy.
It had all the trappings of a formal cabinet meeting, except that the government ministers were 20 feet underwater and wearing scuba gear. The ministers predict that if the pace of greenhouse gas emission and rising sea levels is not curbed, most of their country would disappear beneath the waves of the Indian Ocean within a century.
In 2008, after the elections, we were able to bring a number of changes to the Maldive society. We were able to come up with a social protection program that looked after the elderly. We gave an allowance and benefit for single mothers, to the disabled. We gave universal health coverage to all. And at the same time, we were able to bring the budget deficit down from a mad 28% to 7%. We were able to bring freedom of expression, and in fact, it went rampant. TV stations, radio stations, and books and newspapers were saying and writing whatever they felt like.
The Maldives, which promotes itself as an Indian Ocean tourist heaven, is currently experiencing a form of political hell.
Mohammed Nasheed insists members of the security forces made him stand down at gunpoint on Tuesday. His fight back rally, though, ended in violence, with clashes between police and members of his party, angry at what they believe was a coup.
I was forced to resign with guns all around me. They told me that if I do not resign, they will not hesitate to use arms.
First of all, who's in charge in your country right now?
Well, the British dictatorship is back again. The military and the police, they are in control with our vice president as a facade.
Maldives rulers are always out on TV spelling out how they're going to arrest me again. Now we understand it's one thing to topple a dictator, but it's a totally another thing to root out the remnants, the tentacles of a dictatorship. We need an election in the Maldives, and we need it now. It doesn't depend who wins it. My presidency is not important at all. But the people of the Maldives must be governed not through brute force, but by an elected leader. They must be governed according to their will. To have a sustainable democracy, it has to come from the grassroots, and not an oligarchy or the military toppling a government. We will give a good fight, and hopefully we will win it again. This is a process. Nothing is lost. The story has not ended yet. And it will never end. It will go on. It may not be my generation, but I was always confident that the people, the Maldives, will one day win if we stick to non-violent principles.